Hey, I'm Chris Rimbolt. I've been a health insurance agent since 2015, and I wanted to make you a video to make it easier to understand what's out there as far as health insurance options go. I'm going to simplify this quite a bit for you, hopefully save you some research time and get you pointed in the right direction to answer your health insurance research needs. Maybe you're looking at what to do if you're going self-employed and need to pick your own plan. Maybe there's unfortunately been some layoffs that's been going on as well, and you need to figure out if the COBRA option makes the most sense for you. And there are many life changes where people shop health insurance. So I'm going to make it real simple for you. A couple things to know. If you want the detailed version, I made you a 10-page guide. It's linked below. Go look at that if you want to. And another thing, I really am just going to talk about the 5 types of plans out there. Once you know the 5 types of plans, it really saves you quite a bit of time and research. First, please do not go put your phone number and email into a quotes website, one that's supposed to give you health insurance options, because what that site will do is make your phone ring with and get lots of texts from sales agents. It's probably not going to actually give you quotes right then and there. You'll have to deal with a lot of salespeople. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. If you've already done that, I'm sorry. That's not fun. But don't put your phone number and email into any websites. Just watch this video and you'll get a good idea of what you need to do. All right, the 5 types of health insurance. Type number 1, employer group coverage. This is the most common one in America. Most people watching this video will be covered by employer group coverage. It's very easy. You just sign up through your employer. It can get expensive at some places because they don't always cover the spouse and kids, and maybe that's why you're shopping. And if you leave your job, either through getting laid off or through maybe going self-employed, there are many reasons people leave a job, then that employer-sponsored group coverage becomes something called COBRA. And COBRA is famously expensive because the employer is no longer paying any of the cost of the insurance. It's all on you. So if you're getting a COBRA quote right now for your health insurance, then you're probably saying, whoa, health insurance costs this much, I need to shop. But the shopping and researching part can be really intimidating. That's what I'm hoping to make simple for you here. That's type number 1. So that's the common one, that's the group coverage. Most people know what that looks like, have that, or have had that before. Type number 2 is the most common individual type plan. It's sometimes called Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, ACA, Marketplace. It's the plans that are doing open enrollment from November into December for a 2023 start date. These plans are going to be ones you can just sign up for online. You don't have to talk to anybody to get them, and they do cover pre-existing conditions. There are a couple things to know about Affordable Care Act plans. Number 1, the price you may pay will be dependent upon the number of people in your household and your household income. So you go to one of the websites. I have one linked below. It's that Health Sherpa link. That's my referral link that they gave me. And you can put your zip code and ages in there and household income, and it will tell you if you are going to get a discount or not. So that's one thing about the Affordable Care Act. You can get discounts on the costs of it. Sometimes it's even free. And number 2, know about the Affordable Care Act is it will cover all pre-existing conditions. Now that may seem like an obvious thing, but the government mandated that all plans sold on the government-sponsored marketplace, as well as all employer group plans, need to cover pre-existing conditions. That's a good thing, obviously, because people are not always super healthy, and they still need to be able to access health care. So they kind of tend to be a little bit more expensive than some of the other options if you don't get a discount, because they do cover pre-existing conditions. So if you don't have pre-existing conditions, maybe it's good to shop on. But if you do have some health risks or health treatments, then the Affordable Care Act is a safe place for you. Those are enrolling right now. So that's type number 2, Affordable Care Act. Type number 3, which is the one that I have sold over the past 7 years, that is known as individual underwritten coverage. And what those are is a lot like the insurance before the Affordable Care Act was passed, back when things were large networks and they would rate you based on your actual health risk. So if if you do have some medical issues, this one probably isn't the direction for you to go. But if you don't, then these often, if they're available in your state, they're not available in all states, but they're available in most states. If you don't have any major health issues, then you can usually get a better price than the non-discounted Affordable Care Act plans. That's type number 3, the individual underwritten plans. Getting quotes for those, you have to actually go through an agent. And I'm not actually adding clients right now. I'm working on a different project. I'm not building a health insurance business anymore. But I did want to share my experience and information with you so that you don't have to do a ton of research. If you do think that an individual underwritten plan might be a good fit for you, you can go onto a social media page for your community and say, who has underwritten individual health insurance plans, and usually 5 or 6 agents will respond, or maybe some happy clients will tag their agents. So those do go through a person, and you want that person to be someone that you can reach later with questions, because that can be very helpful during the claims process. Type number 4 of the 5 types of health insurance plans is short-term plans. Short-term plans are inexpensive. They can be signed up for online. You generally don't have to go through the agent application process or agent-based application process. And those plans renew every usually 6, 12, or 18 months. I'm not really a fan of those unless you have a known short coverage gap. So if you know that you'll be starting a job 6 months later and you just need something between this work and that work's coverage, short-term plan is a good fit for that situation. But I wouldn't recommend having it year over year over year, because if something happens during one of the years, that thing will not be covered by that plan the next year or any time after. So once something happens on a short-term plan, generally that will not be covered in the future. Type number 5 is the stuff to avoid. I call them lightweight plans. They are plans that are indemnity only, and an indemnity only plan is a plan that only pays a certain amount for certain things. And so if there is a large claim, an expensive medical bill that comes to you, the indemnity plan will only cover a specific amount of specific things on that, and it can get, your bill can run away from your insurance real fast. Another type is going to be Medishare plans, also known as ministry plans or religious affiliated plans. Those plans generally have a claims department, which is more like a board of people that decide which claim to pay. And they can decide yes or no on any claim. They don't have to pay anything. It's not regulated insurance. And that process can take months to have a bill generally reimbursed to the people covered by it. So those are the 5 types of plans: employer-sponsored group coverage, Affordable Care Act, and individual underwritten, short-term, and the lightweight plans. Amongst those 5 plan types, there will be a fit for you. If you want more information about the pros and cons of each plan type, or if you want to have a guide that talks about some of the tips for prescriptions and claims, how to save money there, as well as what to do after you get your insurance set up, I made that 10-page guide. It is below. If you want to support me, you can go purchase a copy of that, and that will be my more in-depth information. But this is a good shortcut for you. You won't have to necessarily do as much research once you understand there are 5 plan types out there, and that if people are selling something to you, it's a good idea to figure out which of those 5 types of plans it fits into. So if somebody's offering you a quote, you can ask them, hey, is this Affordable Care Act? Is this individual underwritten plan? Is this a short-term plan? Because sometimes short-term plans will actually be marketed as if they're something that is bigger than what they are. And also indemnity plans, I've noticed, get marketed that way as well. So the agent will be surprised that you know that terminology, because it's very much kind of industry talk. But they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess this person knows what it is. And they'll be able to describe to you in more detail what the plan is and what it does. But just be careful out there. There's a lot of people selling a lot of stuff, and it can be the Wild West out there with health insurance. But hopefully this has helped you. Leave a comment below if you have any questions for me. I will answer them as I'm able. And if you want to go check if you're eligible for a discount on the Affordable Care Act, I have that referral link below. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this has saved you some time and trouble. I'm Chris Rimbolt. I love y'all, and good luck on health insurance.